You want to move into the news? Why don't we move into the news?
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about this week. The Game Awards happened, which means we have a gigantic list of game announcements and trailers and stuff of that nature.
Yes. I mean, I like literally the day after it happened, I was trying to remember any of the big announcements, and Smash was like really like them killing Mario was really the only thing I could remember. I don't know.
I thought I was like, man, did they really let Sephiroth stab Mario in that trailer? And then no, they totally didn't. It just looks like they did.
They announced Perfect Dark. It was fun.
Yeah, like to me, Perfect Dark is like probably the biggest thing out of this, which is a really weird thing to say, but yes,
it had been rumored.
That was in a
that
was such a non-trailer though.
Mm.
Like that was just them saying we're doing it.
Yeah, I feel like
right
all
because
those,
there's no actual like gameplay. It's not even like a cinematic trailer, right? It was just people.
Oh no, it's people talking about, which I think, like, honestly, if you want to sell me on the idea of, hey, we're going to make a new Perfect Dark, I want to hear the pitch. I don't want to see, here's Joanna Dark and she's holding a gun and there's an alien man and a weird gun. Like, no,
sure.
like you need to tell me.
I mean, you could do
why
you can do a pitch
and
through
what
a trailer.
You do. Yeah, but they don't have the game at a point where they could even have like a meaningful trailer for that. Yeah. Like that studio is brand new. They're still putting it all together. Like they probably don't have a ton beyond what they even put in there. So
yeah, it's being done by the Initiative, which is the Santa Monica studio that Microsoft started, and I think is like headhunting talent from other Santa Monica studios. I don't know. Like I mean, you at least get a sense of the tone from that thing because like Perfect Dark was so fucking campy back in the day, like even Perfect Dark Zero, right? Like it's pretty dumb, right? Like Perfect Dark's kind of dumb.
Very not a lot of mention of Perfect Dark Zero in any of that.
Weird.
It was
it
was
like,
really just like
the tone of this is like kind of gritty and like sleek, and you know, we're like futuristic agents trying to take down corporations that have like sinister motives and stuff like that. It's not like, you know, UFOs. And
I feel like I just played that game.
It's my whole MO.
Yeah, but maybe it ends up being UFOs. But also, like, if I were to do a new Perfect Dark game and I were Microsoft and I had like the slate of games that Microsoft in theory has, meaning Halo, Gears, all that other stuff, there is like zero. To me, and this is why I don't make games, and I'm certainly not in marketing or anything like that, but to me, the least interesting thing they could do is make a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Because they make those already. They already have shooters. Like, if you are telling me, hey, we want to make a more of an RPG take on it, more of a dialogue, like what does a spy do? They talk their way into and out of situations. They have cool gadgets. Like, you want a game... I would want a game that takes advantage of all of those things and not anything that Perfect Dark has been up to this point, because I think Perfect Dark is like, it's the sequel to GoldenEye, right? It's the sequel to GoldenEye for the N64. It's remembered as being like, oh man, I used to play that split screen. Like, no, like it shouldn't even be a shooter.
Like I mean, as much as some people don't want to hear this, like I'm sorry to say that you can't make another game like GoldenEye in the third decade of the 21st century. You know, like you can't make a shooter like that anymore.
Yeah, it's not gonna. I mean, that's what Perfect Dark Zero tried to do in a lot of cases, and it just didn't. You know, and sure you could do that better than they did, but I don't think that that's what they need, especially in a world where they've got Halo, especially in a world where they've just got other fucking shooters. So I think if you look at this and say like, hey, why don't you make a game that is like Alpha Protocol, but you know, even better, you know, whatever. Like, but like, why don't you make an immersive sim? Why don't you make that type of RPG? Why don't you make that type of why don't you make a third person game with a stealth system?
What if it was like Hitman?
What if it was like Hitman? You know?
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if it was like whatever Bond game the Hitman team is going to make? Like, I think that's what I want out of a spy game, out of an espionage type of thing, is I think you want that type of intrigue and in-game storytelling that those sorts of games can allow for. And there was a couple of cases in that footage where they, you know, in those interviews where they were like, oh yeah, people remember Perfect Dark. It was like first person. Like, okay, all right, you're mentioning that it was first person. Even that has me worried that like you're just making the wrong game. And they talk about like, oh, we need to figure out a way to make it different, but not too different. Like, how do we ride that line of not making an old feeling game, but not getting too far away from what Perfect Dark was? And I want to know very much what they think Perfect Dark was, because I think it was okay, sure, but not a game that Microsoft needs on its slate.
Yeah, I played so much Perfect Dark growing up, and for me, my memory of it, because it's good, like such a big gap. Like I think, like what you're saying, like I don't want them to remake Perfect Dark. Like right now, they have enough of my legacy of like I have a fond memory of this title. So like I am intrigued with whatever game they're gonna make. Just make it a good game. I kind of don't care what it is, you know. And like if I want to think about like the Perfect Dark, like kind of the things I liked about it. I mean, the things I liked about it was like playing with my sister over the summer. You know what I mean? Like this is the game we played. I don't know. It's the one my family bought for us. But I also think it was like, you know, the laptop gun and just like these weird things and like the stupid AI, like that kind of stuff was fun. But I don't know. I like don't. It's hard. Yeah, I think what you're saying is very true, which is like it's hard to imagine. Like they can't. I don't want them to like try to recreate that game, but for modern stuff. Like I want them to make an interesting game and just take the fact that like I like the Perfect Dark franchise as enough for me to be intrigued with whatever this game's going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like sci-fi spy franchise, like Joanna Dark like maybe, can be a very cool character.
Yeah, like some weird guns or like some interesting levels or something like, I think, you know, kind of silly and campy like y'all were talking about, I think is like enough.
Yeah. I think I'm open to kind of whatever they come up with, like you say, as long as it's good. I like good games. I'm just gonna put that out there. So
bold.
Whoa.
Yes. God, what else did they have at this thing? I guess like the BioWare double whammy is like kind of a big deal, but kind of not, because they still didn't show what Dragon Age 4 actually is. But I don't know. It's got a certain tone to it.
Will return. You know,
Is that who that dude is? The bald elf guy? Like, is that a character people know? I don't know Dragon Age.
Yeah, that's that's the bad guy.
Okay.
If we're trying to move on from Dragon Age, they also announced Master Chief in Fortnite, but my crew of friends, we play Fortnite every night and we're always on and looking at new skins in the shop. And one of my friends, we're in like a group chat, and he was like, Master Chief is in the shop ? Because it's like they like made him live in the shop like a few minutes before they like announced it in the Game Awards, I think. So I don't know. I just thought that was very funny that they were just like, yeah, it's going live now, and then like eventually the Game Awards caught up. But it was a weird thing to just see him in the shop with like no context.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they're doing all the weird crossover stuff. I don't know. I'm just never gonna play Fortnite.
Do you think?
Okay, that's not true.
Hey, it runs at 120 frames a second now.
Look, it looks great on my PS5. Fortnite is fun. I have so many skins. I have put an embarrassing amount of money into Fortnite. I will admit it. I do not care about any of these weird crossovers. I want, especially because we like just got off like a Marvel season where like all of the skins that you got this season were like Marvel characters, and like I don't give a shit for most of them. So like I like the weird Fortnite original characters that are like, here is a man who is a fish and he walks around and has a gun. You know, here is a man who is made of goo. Here is a woman
Let me tell you
who has
about
an
Mass
athletic
Effect
body
3.
face that's a taco head. Anyway, what are you saying?
Taco head.
Taco head.
Don't worry about it.
Do you think? Do you think Kratos and Master Chief were supposed to be were like originally intended to be kind of a 1-2 punch at this thing? Because Kratos leaked, right? Isn't that right?
So did Master Chief, I think.
Kratos leaked like a day or two before.
Yeah, I got the sense that like I don't know for a fact that they put Kratos out early. Actually, now that I say that out loud, that would probably be too hard to coordinate moving that launch up. But like I got the sense that Kratos leaked and then he came out pretty quickly. And I wonder if that was intended, because like these things only being like a week apart seems kind of conspicuous that Sony was out there with their character last week, and now here's Microsoft a week later.
showing off their money, that they were like, okay, here we go. Look, we got a PlayStation exclusive character. And then you know what? We got a Microsoft exclusive character. And I feel like next up is Link, you know?
Oh boy.
Link and then Spawn and then
maybe
Heihachi
Samus.
and
Yeah.
Yoda,
Samus. Ooh,
Darth
cool.
Vader.
I don't
I
think
would
they would let
put it-
Link hold the guns.
I want
Yeah,
because like is like Master Chief looks so small compared to everyone else because they're all the same height, but Master Chief should be big. So like it's all just scaled down, so he seems like tiny. So I want them to put in Mario, but have the weird long stretchy Mario. Like I want them to have the traditional Mario. And like
look,
if you've ever
Nintendo
seen,
doesn't like it when people have fun with their properties. All right, you know that.
have you ever seen like there's this GIF of this, like TikTok that I love, which is like clearly someone put like a mod in to make their Sims be able to twerk, and they had their children Sims do it, but like the mod is designed for the adult body, so it's like all these children Sims all stretched out twerking in a room. It's amazing. But that's what I want for Mario, where it's like you got the Mario skin that's just like kind of abnormally stretched for the Fortnite height. That's my dream.
Creepy Mario Maker Mario.
That's
Twerking.
yes.
Skinny
Yes,
Mario?
That's the crossover.
Yeah.
Yep, get Skinny Mario. I would play Fortnite if they put Skinny Mario in there.
Yes.
Callisto Protocol looks cool.
Dude, like that is
I like-
the actual thing I am the most excited about here because they are just making a new Dead Space and they are not being the slightest bit shameful about it. I mean, it's the studio that Glenn Schofield founded. What is it? Striking Distance, I think is the name of that studio.
That sounds right.
Striking distance.
like-
Yes.
And I mean, Brad, you were going
Like-
on and on about how you wanted them to expand the PUBG universe.
Dude, yeah, totally. That's like the thing I care about more than anything in video games. Like, yes, it's the stupid, dumbest thing. But like, what is this? Because PUBG is like modern day jumping out of a cargo plane onto an island, and this is set in space with spaceships and aliens. Like, what the fun cyborgs?
But it
like,
also has kind of a little bit of a post-apocalyptic vibe. Like all the buildings are kind of blown out and there's graffiti everywhere. Like I could see maybe it's set in the near future and humanity has
think
abandoned.
I want to
Wasn't
say the
it set
character.
100 years after the events of PUBG? Isn't that did that
Did they actually? Did they actually say that?
did they
That's
maybe get out
amazing.
there and say that? I think that might be the case. So
That's already more thought than I assumed they would have put into a setting like that. I want to say the character in the trailer did have like a prison
He has
jumpsuit
like a
or something.
neck
on.
thing and a prison
So
jumpsuit. Yeah.
There's also that. So like that's the thing where like as soon as he stands up into frame and there's a fucking implant in the back of his neck that just has a health bar on it, it's like, all right, you were making Dead Space.
Yep.
Like here's just
I was looking at that. I'm
Here's
like,
that-
they're fucking ripping off Dead Space, and then they're like, it's the Dead Space guy, and I'm like, okay, you can rip
Totally
yourself
that.
off. That's fine.
yeah.
like that is super exciting to me because like a horror game like that on this new hardware could look completely incredible. Like it's very exciting to me.
Technology is advanced that darkness can truly be
right.
dark.
Yes. Retrace the shadows, please. It's almost as
Yeah.
exciting as Vin Diesel starring in
Wow.
new Ark.
This
So
I
confused.
thought it was going to be a new Turok. I thought Vin was going to be the new Turok.
That would be Turok is like canonically Native American, I believe. It would be like as people were saying, like, this is new Turok. I'm like, oh, that'd be really shitty of them to do this.
See, I never played Turok, let's say, but come on, he's a dinosaur hunter. Vin Diesel
Is
would
this-
be a great.
Fair enough.
I thought
Is
the
this
trailer
like
for this looked like a fake, like if you were watching a movie and they had to have like a fake video game trailer in the background, that's
Yeah.
what this looked like to me. Like it did not look
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a real game. It looked so weird. I don't know. Everything about it's weird. It's like real uncanny valley on a lot of it too.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel that way about Ark in general. Is that Ark? People talk about Ark as if people play it, and it's a real product that exists. But I refuse to believe that. I'm just like, what is
That was
Ark?
totally the reaction I
Big,
had.
made
to
a
this.
ton of money. Okay.
That's how I reacted to this when I saw that they had Vin Diesel, who granted is like not the biggest movie star in the world, but he's pretty big, right?
He's
And it was
huge.
just like
I love
it was
Yeah,
another
he's-
moment of it was another one of those reminders of like Ark is like quietly one of those games that is just completely huge. You just never think about it, right? Like that game makes
Yeah.
enough money to get marquee movie stars to star in its sequel, right?
Yeah, and then didn't they do what is it, his? There's another. There are multiple Ark games, right? There's not just
Yes.
Ark.
There's
like,
Survival
what is it?
Evolved, and then there's shit. What is it called? Maybe we played it.
Pix
for a
Ark.
quick look.
Is Pix
Right.
Ark part of the Ark franchise,
Yes.
or is that something
That's
else?
the case. It's it's like a Minecraft-y take on Ark, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just going to check real fast here. Okay, Ark is done. Okay, I started to say, is Ark still in early access? But apparently it fully came out. Now they are legally empowered to make a sequel.
They apparently teased their 5th paid DLC expansion in November of this year.
Okay.
Cool.
So a lot of people playing Ark.
Yeah.
I
As
feel
you
like
said,
maybe when I
Sephiroth,
played Ark, it seemed like it was just maybe I did play it when it was in super early access, and it was like one of those games that I think like Dan and I would just kind of say like, I don't know, it's just another game where you're just getting like more sticks and rocks and eventually making shit. I don't know, whatever. Like at a time when there was suddenly a zillion of those and they were all early access and all seemed equally broken. It was like, all right, Ark, I guess.
yeah, like this could have been Rust too, right?
I thought this was Rust at first.
Might as well be, right?
Rust is more nude than Ark, right?
True, it's true.
Rust
You
is
think
more porny.
I think Cyberpunk has dongs. You should play some Rust.
Put that on the box.
Yeah, as you said, Sephiroth is in Smash, coming to Smash. My only question is, how did that not happen already? Did that not already happen?
Well, they already had Cloud, and I feel like they did their, we got a Final Fantasy, and now they've done enough other guys that they're like, let's put another Final Fantasy in there.
Was it
What if instead they did something else cool that would be cool or good?
Sephiroth's cool. You seen
Like
his
a
sword?
Fire Emblem character or something.
Yeah, can we get some Marth up in there?
Some of the fans will
Marth.
love, like a King of Fighters character. Some of the Smash players will really identify with. Choi. I don't know. Sure. I think the question that I've seen most is, do you think that they will put more Final Fantasy music in it, since Cloud only brought like 2 tracks or something, and there was apparently like weird soundtrack stuff there.
I mean, they introed him with One Winged Angel in that trailer, so probably.
Can I play as Kenny Omega?
Oh,
Yes.
can you imagine?
As Kenny Omega as Sephiroth? Will that be like a skin or a shadow?
No,
What the fuck do they call him?
that's Jeff. It sounds to me like you're sort of getting into like fan creation territory here. I'd be careful. It sounds like you're kind of getting into some Project M stuff. I'm gonna have to start sending you a little bit of a shutdown here.
I showered today. Okay, I showered today. I'm not. I don't know what any of that is. I took a shower today.
Today.
Just one.
So far, I mean, it's only 1 o'clock.
We didn't really get into it too much. We talked about it a good bit on the Hotspot last Friday, but they did tease a new Mass Effect, which I guess looks like it's a sequel to 3. It's got Liara in it, apparently.
Uncovering some N7 armor, or like a little bit of some recovered something.
Like a bit Reaper in the background at some point, so it looks like they are an ending of 3 and running with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Interesting timing with this and the Exodus of Bioware.
Yes,
I don't know if
people.
Exodus is. I mean, a couple of people left. I don't know if more people left.
A couple of very important people. Yeah, Exodus is maybe not the right word, but
pretty high up their studio and team management people. But yes,
yeah. But for them to be like, hey, these people that you know, names you may have known from BioWare are leaving, and by the way, we are still making 2 games. That did seem a little weird.
Yes. Also, here is a bunch of CG and no actual gameplay.
Right. Yes. Like it. Yeah. It's that. Yes. That also seemed weird in terms of like, well, why did you need to? You didn't need to do this. Like,
you didn't need to do that.
Didn't
they already kind of say they were doing it?
It's the second time they've shown Dragon Age at the Game Awards, and both times it's been like, all right, what, you're barely showing anything. It's not like they came back this year and now we've got a real gameplay. You just look at it and go like, okay, like you're striking a tone here with this stuff, I guess. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Mass Effect, the idea of a new Mass Effect, we talked about it last week, I think, but it's just like, I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know. I don't know how into that I am. I just look at it and go like, I don't think I'm ready to believe them on this, or like they got to prove it. After 3, after Andromeda, they've got to prove it.
Some people would have told you that they killed Mass Effect, that it was in fact dead, and yet here they are making a new Mass Effect. So I don't know.
But I'm not convinced that the people who said that Mass Effect is dead were wrong. I think is the thing is like I don't. Maybe that's just BioWare as a label, when a studio, whatever you know, like maybe they need to prove it across the board, because even Dragon Age at this point, like it's been long enough. Anthem has happened. They say they were making good on Anthem. They haven't done that yet. Like I feel like like as a studio, as BioWare has just been writing checks since Andromeda. Maybe since Andromeda got announced. Let's say since Andromeda came out, but it just feels like it's been like, okay, here's another thing BioWare is doing. You haven't made good on the last thing. Yeah, but we're going to do this too. Also, we're going to try to fix the other thing that we're doing. Like, okay, you should. What do you got to say about that? Here's some UI. Here's a screenshot of UI.
The Anthem stuff looks okay.
Yeah, it does. But like, they just need to, like, the idea of them going ahead and saying, yes, we're going to make a new Mass Effect, something that they already said, I think, like in an earnings call or something, right? I mean, this isn't like necessarily new news. It's just now they've got an asset to go with it. This just feels fake. This just feels like why don't put Dragon Age out first. And now, or show the Dragon Age is a real game that is actually going to get finished someday, and not like endlessly rebooted behind the scenes or whatever the fuck is going on over there. Like, just get something done and get something to a place where you're talking about it and showing it and something. It's just weird. It just seems weird. Like this didn't need to happen. This almost seems like, did Keighley need something that would be a closer, that would be a new announcement that people would be talking about? Not that this is really a new announcement.
Was Mass Effect like the closer for the show?
Yeah,
I thought it was.
As far as announcements go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. I'd believe
so.
It.
Like, was it a case of like, hey, we need something to be here, and this would be a big deal, and so they just like threw it together to have it on last? Because
he was out there tweeting about working with them on this announcement, wasn't he?
Right. Yeah. So maybe it's like a long in the works, like, you know, like they were trying to strike the right tone, or like he was out there tweeting about like, which I think is weird to have him involved in the process of putting together a trailer for a show, but whatever. It's like I don't know what to even say about this other than they shouldn't have done this and should have waited until they had something better to show.
They have to win us back.
Some of the existing projects or whatever.
They have to win the Mass Effect audience back. There are people who liked Andromeda, sure, but like there is a massive amount of Mass Effect fans who they need to actively win back, and you do that by showing something cool and not saying, we're going to show you something cool in a year or whatever.
If that, right? I mean, because if they're going to do Dragon Age first, then what, it just, I don't know. The math just doesn't work out for me on that. Like, I don't get what they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to get people excited about a game, but they have another game, but then they are trying to fix the other game. It's just what is BioWare? What are they trying to accomplish other than you make games and sell them or whatever? Like, did this come along with a studio expansion that's going to allow this stuff to happen at a faster pace because they're bringing on more people, or they're rebranding some other studio as BioWare and they're going to be the new Mass Effect team, or what? Like, what's the actual? I'm sure there are some answers to those questions out there, but like, the whole thing just strikes me as fake. As just like, yeah, I know, of course you're going to make a new Mass Effect. You already said as much, but like, this is nothing. Like, what more? Finish a game, or at least get a game in a showable state. Give me a gameplay demo for a game and say, this is the new BioWare game. Whether it's Dragon Age, whether it's Mass Effect, who gives a shit? Even if it's just like, hey, here's the fixed Anthem, that would be something that's like, hey, we're still out here doing stuff and not just putting together assets for Game Awards trailers. It's just weird.
An asset, a trailer of that nature can be contracted out. A showable game, something you've got to put up yourself. I'm with you. I guess the last thing I'll mention real fast from the Game Awards is they showed some gameplay from Back 4 Blood finally, the Turtle Rock spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. It sure does look like Left 4 Dead. I mean, it really looks like Left 4 Dead, except with aim down
Didn't
sights.
Turtle Rock worked on Left 4 Dead, didn't they?
My understanding is they kind of created the project. Like they came up with the idea, and then it sort of got absorbed into Valve, if I'm not mistaken. I think is how that works.
And then Turtle Rock went on to do Evolve, right?
They did Evolve, yes. Just like not a terrible. Like Evolve's not terrible. Like it didn't catch on. It certainly did not hit.
It had ideas.
It hadn't. Yes, it was not. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this footage is a little rough looking. Like they flat out say at the top of the trailer, like this is pre-alpha footage. Like it's obviously not close to anything final, but well, whatever. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm sure getting gameplay footage together for an unfinished game is not the easiest thing in the world. But I don't know. It looked like Left 4 Dead, but pretty rough to me.
Will there be characters that shout about pills in this game?
I mean, footage straight up starts in a safe room covered in graffiti before exiting the safe room with 3 other characters and shooting zombies. So yes,
Chicago Ted to be in the
very probably there will be pills equivalents and a Chicago Ted equivalent.
Meth
is my guess. Yes,
yes. Meth is the new pills.
Yes, a lot has changed in 10 years. Meth is big now.